actually creating between two gardens. So walk me through, as you said, you guys often talk DMing, saying this is our moment to do this once and for all. Do you remember that defining moment where you guys decided, okay, let's do the show, let's buy the equipment, let's get the editing software? Walk me through that process from deciding when to do it to your first episode drop about a month ago.
I'll try to find the DMs because I remember it happened on Twitter, Dan, right?
It sure did.
The real like initial conversation did for some reason. I don't know what sparked it, but I'm gonna go find it.
Why do you say that? I've heard a lot of partnerships. I don't mean to interrupt. Sorry, Dan. I was just saying,
of course not.
I was just saying that I think there are a lot of partnerships starting on Twitter, like Pardon My Take, Big Cat at PFT, Riffit on Twitter, leading to, you know, most successful sports podcast now, arguably, or Jesus and Miro also, who are great hosts on Showtime, do great podcasts, and Jesus and Miro, they started on Twitter. So it's funny how the Twitter connection does seem to work with podcasters.
I think a lot of it was our DMs are basically just taking shots at one another.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it just, what happened was it just boiled over that it was like, all right, you son of a bitch, like we're putting this on air because like, yeah, I'm sick of getting the torture and taking these punches in private. Like we're going to take this public and at least like, you know, have people sympathize with either side and figure that part out. So
look at that. You were about to say something else, Dan?
Yeah. So it did happen relatively gradually, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I think we originally had the idea for the show. It was probably 4 or 5 months ago. And between then and now, it was a lot of, you know, trying to see if there were any specific parts of the identity we could come up with before we hit the mics.
Right.
Really just trying to lay the groundwork for ourselves because we have no background in this. I've been a guest on a podcast one time in my life prior to this. Mm-hmm. I've never recorded one. I've never edited one prior to this. So we were brand new, and we knew that it was going to take a little bit. It was going to take some homework before we hopped on the mics, obviously, especially knowing how much we believed in this idea, knowing that we really wanted to put the work in necessary to make it something that, you know, people would enjoy listening to. So that led to a little bit of a gap between the idea and getting right to it. But once we did, I mean, we've been learning all along the way. We're still learning. I mean, we learned in the conversation we had before we started talking today, where you said, oh, timestamps while you're recording instead of just finding them in post. It's like, oh, Tom, we got to do that.
Yeah.
Like we're really just, we're learning a lot of stuff on the fly. It's a lot of it is trial and error, but yeah, we got to the point where we had the name, we knew what we wanted the visuals to look like. And then it was just a matter of coming up with a basic formula, maybe a couple of segments, which we're starting to phase in now. Mm-hmm. Knowing how our basic topic structure was going to go, like length per topic, everything like that.
Yep.
And then we finally got to a point where we were ready to hop on the sticks about a month ago. And now we're dropping episode 4 this week. And we have a couple more in the tank that we've recorded already. And I tell Tom this every week when we hang up the call. Every week it's palpable how better we're getting at this. Like the difference between even now and episode 1 is such, it's night and day even between episode 1 and episode 6. So that's part of the thing that makes me really want to pursue this and do it for as long as we can, is just that growth that we're feeling every time we do it and that contentment that we get from it.
Yeah, I really admire what you guys have pulled off. And I noticed too, as you know, once I saw the show come on and just reached out to Thomas right away. Hey man, I'd love to, you know, promote you guys. And, you know, obviously I'm in the same boat, still a relatively new show, still pushing through, still so much I'm learning and adding on. And I know exactly where you're coming from. We always are better. I really believe every next show is better, and keeping that consistency.